Hello, welcome back to another speed build with Frimlin. As you can see, this is a relatively small house, and it was requested by one of you, my lovely viewers. I got a request for a family house with about 4 bedrooms using only the base game, and actually it's really funny because even though I'm a restricted pack builder, I haven't made many builds using just the base game. I know there are actually some builders that prefer using just the base game, but I like building with the base game plus at least one pack. In fact, my preference is usually using just one pack. But I also do builds, as you know, with other packs as well. But I haven't done one with just the base game for a long time. And thinking about it, I think the last one I did was for the Toddlers update. And I made like a little starter home that had just enough stuff in it for one toddler and one parent. It was very basic, but you know, it was using the strict 20k budget for starter homes. Actually, that completely reminds me about a little conversation I had in the comment section on one of my recent builds, where someone told me that they saw a builder who made a starter home that was about 100,000 simoleons. I mean, come on. I'm usually very accepting of what any other builder does, but really you can't call 100,000 simoleon budget house a starter home. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a starter home has to stick with the strict budget that the game gives you. But actually the game is quite generous. I think it's become more generous over time. So actually, if you've got a few people in your household that you make, you can get over 20,000 simoleons. Why am I talking about starter homes? I don't know. Let's move on. Let's talk about this house. So for a while I was thinking of making this house also a restricted budget build, but not as restrictive as a starter home. I was thinking this could be around 40,000 to 60,000 simoleons. But while I was building it, I just realized that is not going to happen. But I need to make some builds of around that size, and the reason is because in my legacy world that I play in my Let's Play series, basically I have starter homes that you could get for 20,000, and then I have bigger homes, and the bigger homes are usually 100,000 simoleons plus. So what that means is that after a couple have started a family or whatever in a starter home, and they want to move up, they have a really steep kind of budget increase requirement to get the next stage up in the house. And I think this is like a real practical problem in the game. You know, I mean, there are builds for the price range between 20,000 and 150,000, but I don't generally think that that is a big focus for builders. I mean, you don't usually hear about people talking about this wonderful house that they've just built between 20,000 and 150,000. I know this is a very specific kind of topic, right? But bear with me, right? Because I think it's important. Actually, but the reason why it's important is because my motivation as a builder, before I ever had a YouTube channel, I was like just a builder on the gallery. But my motivation was to fill gaps where I felt there wasn't really enough builds. And this is a gap that I think still after 4 years hasn't really been filled by many builders. This kind of between 20,000 and 150,000 range. So basically, don't be surprised if you see some small to medium houses coming to my channel at some stage soon, because I really need to build more for my legacy world, and that's often a big focus of my building. Is that I like building for the practical needs of my Sims and my world, you know, because I always think that's surely got to be similar to other people. You know, surely other people are going to want houses between 20,000 and 150,000. I think that's enough of that topic now. What about you? How about you talk about this build, Frimlin? So what am I doing in this build right now? Well, don't worry, that white panelled wallpaper that I'm putting up right now. That doesn't stay. That's just like a kind of a guideline for me, because basically I wanted to have exposed stone walls in the house, but I only like them in places where it makes sense. So it makes sense, and it does in the real world as well, to have, you know, the outside of the building with stone or brick or whatever, but internal walls are usually made of something lighter. And so I've basically marked out which are the internal walls and which are the exterior walls. There's also a wall separating kind of two halves of the house, and that is also stone. That's kind of like a supporting wall. So yeah, that's the way I like it. It's much more like a real building, you know, in the real world. And yeah, sometimes I see some stone walls in places in builds where I think, really, there shouldn't be a stone wall there. You know, they've just done it for the looks, which is fine, you know, because actually it doesn't matter at all. I mean, it really doesn't matter. And I certainly don't judge another build if I think it's got some weird walls. I just kind of look at it as a whole. And, you know, in the game they don't have to have the same physics that we have in the real world, so you can have very heavy walls upstairs that, you know, aren't really supported downstairs and stuff like that. But I personally like building with a bit of kind of realism. So I should probably talk about my layout here. The room I'm actually working on right now is kind of like a small downstairs bathroom, and there's like a toilet that I've just placed, and basin to wash your hands in, and now I'm placing a bath, and I'm going to stick a shower in there as well. I'm going to make a little kind of, there we go, a little kind of covered area, which I do for privacy reasons because of the game's privacy rules. You can have a shower there, and you can even have Sims walking past it to go to the bath, and because their direct line of sight won't actually look into the shower, they won't cause any problems with privacy. I've mentioned this before in other builds, but you know, it's been a while, so I'm mentioning it again. That, you know, just think about the way Sims' eyes look as they walk around a space, and you can get away with a lot in terms of privacy. But I like toilets being separate rooms. I think it's again that kind of feeling about realism. I mean, in the real world, having a toilet on its own is much more practical, and you know, you're not going to stink out the whole bathroom and stuff like that. Someone could be in the bath and someone could go to the toilet at the same time without grossing each other out. Things like that. But so a bit of tiles and a bit of exposed stone. I like it. This is my rather large entranceway, or hallway, or whatever you like to call it. But yeah, it's probably a bit big for this size house, but I think it helps set the kind of luxury feel to the place. You know, even though it is on a restricted budget. I mean, I didn't mention that actually earlier. I was talking so much about a kind of house I would like to build, but actually this isn't that kind of house. The budget of this place is just over the range I was talking. I think it's around 160,000 simoleons. So there are still budget restrictions, but they're not as strict as you know, a smaller, cheaper place would be. So for example, that fridge is not the cheapest fridge, but it is one of the cheapest fridges, and it's definitely not an expensive one. There is like a stove and a fridge and some other appliances that are like super expensive. So definitely there's nothing like that in this build. I mean, if there is, it's a mistake. But yeah, I kept the budget down, but I didn't go for the absolute cheapest stuff, so it's kind of like mid-range. But I was surprised still that I managed to hit 160,000, because I thought I'd been quite careful with the budget, but I could go back and actually look over it before I upload it, but I don't want to restrict it too much because, you know, I liked what I made in the end. So I'm going to leave it probably mostly like this. But actually after the video I did decorate it a bit more. I mean, I'm doing a bit of decoration here in the kitchen now, but I think I left it a little plain at the end, so before I uploaded it I did actually add a bit more decoration. So yeah, you'll see that in the final product that you download from the gallery. And in case you don't know, there's always a link in my speed builds in the description below, and you can click on that and save it to your library in game, and next time you go online in game, the build will just magically appear in your library through the wonders of Max's technology or something like that. So sticking with the whole kind of luxury feel to this restricted budget build, I've made a formal dining room here, and just adds a bit of class, a bit more class to the build. Definitely should be a nice place for parties, especially, you know, the eating at the table style parties. But there's also a little bar there, and I think in a minute I'm going to place a stereo as well, so Sims can listen to music or dance or whatever. So this is something that I had a problem with, and that is there isn't really a great selection of curtains in the base game. So I went with a kind of neutral, simple kind of look, but hey, it would be nice if there was some more curtains in the base game. But let's not get onto the top. Okay, it's too late. It's too late. I'm already on that topic. But basically, I don't know if you remember, but especially last year, I used to always mention that why is there no black door in the base game? There's no simple one tile black door in the base game. It's always annoyed me, you know, especially because I'm someone that builds restricted pack builds. I use the base game a lot in my builds, so you can't really rely on there being a small black door in a pack. So it would be nice if there was one in the base game, but alas, there is not one. Even after all my moaning and protestations, you know, there is still no single black door in the game. But hey, I still live in hope. One day I'll get my single black door in the base game. So yeah, in the lounge now, and sticking with this whole formal kind of higher end look to the place, even if I'm not actually using the more expensive stuff. So I've actually been trying to record the commentary for this speed build all week, but as many people in the Northern Hemisphere know right now, a lot of us are having heat waves, and we're definitely having one here in France, which is where I live, and the temperatures have been really high, and I have a very small apartment, and I get sun exposure throughout the entire day. And so the place heats up very quickly, so if I don't record in the morning basically before my computer starts overheating, then the noises it makes just makes it impossible for me to record commentary or record a let's play or something like that. So that's very annoying, but hey, you know, people can get cooling systems for their PCs, but my PC is basically, it was put together on a tight budget, a bit like my builds. So I don't have a super cool PC. It gets hot when the weather gets hot, and hey, that's just the way it is. So I have to work around it, and basically what that means is when it's too hot and it's making too much noise, I can't record anything that involves my voice. So things kind of come to a standstill. So when I get money again, that's something I'd like to fix. I'd like a nice quiet PC, or at least a nice quiet room with the PC in it, you know. Even if I don't change the PC, I'd like to have a nice quiet cold room where the PC can be without overheating. That would be perfect, because yeah, then I can use that to record any time of the day, any time of the year, without any of the problems that I've had recently. So yeah, that would be great. But the way I got around it finally is I decided I needed to get up really early. So today, Friday, I got up at 5 o'clock and I got dressed and showered. I had my first coffee and I did my good morning tweet on Twitter at 6 AM, which is at least a couple of hours earlier than usual. And it's worked. It's quiet enough that I can record. Because, you know, it's just not warm enough yet. The sun hasn't had a chance to warm the area yet. So as soon as I felt that I was awake enough and had enough coffee and, you know, was prepared to do the commentary, I loaded up my recording software and voila, here I am recording. But yeah, it seems to have worked out. So that means I can finally get this build up for the weekend, which is really very important in terms of views, at least for my channel. So it's great to finally do the commentary for the speed build, because basically that means I can upload it and everything is going to be cool for the weekend. And also it means that I'm free now in my next recording slot to start my new Let's Play series. So yeah, I don't know if you watch my Let's Plays, but I do Let's Plays. You might not know this, maybe you're someone that only comes to watch speed builds on my channel. But yeah, I do Let's Play series as well, and I originally started them just to fill the gaps between speed builds. But I got really into them and actually developed a small but dedicated audience that quite likes seeing new episodes of my Let's Plays. So yeah, I have one series, it's called An Angel and an Alien. It's about 50 episodes or more. And then I have another one called The Vampire Vet, that's about 25 episodes now. But I'm starting a brand new series, and I'm probably going to start it within days of this speed build going live. I basically just need to wait for my next opportunity to record some commentary, you know, without the PC noises. So hopefully that will be tomorrow morning if everything goes well. So that should be pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward to starting that. And I know a lot of my Let's Play viewers are as well. Back to the build. I'm just putting the last touches on the outside area. I'm just putting some ground cover around the border, and that's something I haven't done before. If you haven't watched me for very long, you won't know this, but I always try and do something different with each build, and that's why none of my builds really look like the one I've done before. I always try something different. But yeah, some builders, they tend to do the same types of builds over and over again. But I try and do something different each time. It's just my thing. But in saying that, I've thought recently I should go back and make some new builds that are similar to some other ones that I've made before, because some of my builds have been quite popular, and I've thought, hey, I could do a build quite like that. Maybe it will be popular as well. You know, it's not for the sake of popularity, it's because obviously the popularity is there for a reason. If someone really likes a certain type of build, why not make more of that type? You know, I could absolutely understand why some builders make the same type of build over and over again, if that's what's successful for them. So yeah, I think I will do something like that as well. Basically, I have a long list of stuff that I'd like to build. But you know, not as much time, so yeah, that's a shame, but that's just the way it is. Hey, I don't know if I've ever used those white roofs before, but there you go, there it is. It's a bit bright, but I don't know, the whole place has this kind of, it's kind of like modern traditional in a way, because it's got a semi-traditional shape to it. But then there's this kind of white, clean, kind of modern feeling. So I think the closest I could get to describing it is just saying, yeah, modern traditional. So my cat Rodney has just bothered me for the 3rd time in a row. He comes across and he meows at me, and he obviously wants something. But then when I give him some attention, he runs off, which is like really annoying, because, you know, I only have a very short window to record this commentary before it gets too hot. And I'm like, Rodney, leave me alone. So I put some snacks down, and I'm hoping that's going to keep him happy for a while. But let's see, huh? Maybe I'll have to stop the commentary again soon. Who knows? So yeah, I'm just finishing off the main bedroom here. And yeah, it's quite a big spacious room. And there isn't actually an ensuite for this main bedroom, but there's probably enough space that you could actually stick one in if you really wanted to. But I was quite conscious of not wanting to make the place too expensive. The room is so spacious though, you should be able to fit an ensuite in there if you really want. I made a little kind of computer area instead. But yeah, there's definitely enough space for an ensuite, especially over on this side perhaps. And yeah, I'm sticking some carpet down. I just thought, you know, because it's the main bedroom, it'd be nice to have a nice bit of soft carpet when you get out your bed, instead of all this wood everywhere. Although I think you probably know by now, but I really love wood floors everywhere, and I put them in most of my builds. I just like the way they look, and I always think that a few well-placed rugs is all you need, really. So putting some carpet down, like I did in the main bedroom, that's quite rare for me. But I think it works there, because actually in the end it looks like a big rug. Which is what I like, you know, rugs and exposed wood floors. And yeah, another rug in this kids' room. And it's actually a relatively small kids' room. There's only one bed there. And you could always change it up to be a bed for a child instead of a toddler. You could take out the cot there and probably stick in another bed there as well. Or you could actually make the whole room into a rather large, kind of generous ensuite for the main bedroom. There is, after all, a door going through to it. I just thought that, you know, the parents would like easy access to their baby or toddler. It would be a really nice ensuite though, because it's quite a large room for an ensuite, even if it is a small kids' room. So yeah, you could have a lot of space in there, and it would be quite nice. So annoyingly, it's already getting quite warm here, and the computer is starting to make noise, so I hope you can't hear it. But as well as that, I've also got people in the neighborhood making construction noises, you know, because even though I started quite early, time has moved on, and the neighborhood is waking up, and, you know, the sun is warming things up. So it's like, it's such a short window that I have at the moment to record commentary before it gets too noisy around here. In winter, it's, you know, it's not a problem at all. It's just everything's so quiet, the PC is quiet, the neighborhood tends to be quieter as well, but yeah, at the moment it's really not the case. But it's just because of these really high temperatures, I think, is the main problem, you know, because that's what's causing the PC to overheat. But wow, so annoying. Hey, I really like the colors of this room. I just think it's got this kind of, the wallpaper in particular has this kind of night sky look to it, you know, like stars in a night sky. So with the computer and the kind of modern furniture in the room, it would be good for like a geek teen. Then the other room is probably more suitable for a more artistic or creative sim instead. So there's more traditional furniture instead of the modern that we have in the other room. And then of course there's different colours. It's green rather than the blue of the other bedroom. But yeah, generally a more relaxed and more comforting room than the last one. And in just a little bit I add a painter's easel, which kind of further accentuates that theme. I just like having a range of different themed rooms because you have different sims with different personalities, and so, you know, different rooms appeal to different sims. Sometimes it really helps to think about, you know, exactly what type of sim you're building a room for. It can help focus you and keep you on theme. So yeah, it's actually already very warm in this room, and I'm starting to sweat. So yeah, so annoying, I can't believe it. I really look forward to the winter. I know that's terrible to say, but you know, at least in the winter it's so much easier to get warm. It's nice to have some hot days, but you know, after a while they just kind of get to you. Well, they do to me anyway. So now we're going to have a bathroom appear out of nothing. There it is. And no bath in this bathroom. It's just a toilet and a shower. But there is space for a bath if you really want one there. Otherwise you can use the one downstairs instead. And as you see, there are some stairs going from there up to the attic. And I was thinking of leaving the attic as empty. And then I thought about making it like filled with a whole lot of storage space. You know, so just a whole lot of boxes and stuff. Then I had this idea of making a gym. So we've actually got a rather large gym. It could probably be a commercial gym, in fact. But you can take it out and do whatever you like with it. I also decided it would be good to put in some plant pots. And why did I do that? Well, because I thought at the last minute, why not stick in one of these new glass roofs? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back for another video soon. Take care.